Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. How is everyone doing today? Give me some thumbs up or thumbs down, depending on how you're doing today. Depending on how you're doing today. So the other day, I wrote an article about the mistrust of love. The mistrust of love. Because I'm watching as there's all these labels being thrown around in so many relationships these days. I'm watching this mistrust where we've grown throughout, especially the last year to 2 years with individuals in our lives. I'm watching this mistrust as we've learned to mistrust our fellow man because of disease and because of, sickness and all of this. There is so much mistrust in the world. And so I was thinking about love. I was really thinking about this heart-centered love because in truth, that's where we all need to get back to. It's where we all need to get back to. However, out of everything that we distrust or mistrust in our world, the thing that we really struggle with is the concept of love and trust and positive emotions and trust. We don't trust our good feeling orgasmic energy. So I teach the orgasmic frequency. That is what I enjoy teaching people to live that abundant life, that life filled with sensuality, sexuality, filled with joy, filled with pleasure, whatever that pleasure is. It's not all about the bedroom, though the bedroom is included in that. It's about truly enjoying that frequency. But in order to get there, we have to learn to trust. And we have to learn to trust in our relationships. And we have to learn, first and foremost, to truly trust the positive vibes within. So I love Brené Brown's work. And she talks a lot about how this love and joy and all of those really positive, higher vibe emotions and feelings are some of the hardest things for us to lean into because we've been hurt, because we've been screwed over, because we learn as adults to close our hearts. When we're little kids, we are open and trusting, and we are actually little sponges. And so yes, we do get hurt. And so throughout our lives, throughout relationships, a lot of people close down their heart spaces. And we learn to always wait for the next shoe to drop, for that next shoe to drop. And what we end up doing is calling in that shoe dropping. We end up calling that energy in when we're sitting there going, okay, this is too good. This is too good. We end up calling that energy into our relationships. When we feel too amazing, we end up allowing our egos to really jump into the shadowlands. And while we need to be aware of the shadow elements of our ego, we have to know that shadow piece. We also can't drop into it and allow ourselves to really spin in there, because that is where the shoe does drop. That is where the relationships do go bad. That's where the mistrust comes from. We get to this beautiful orgasmic space in our lives, in our relationships, and it feels too much. We're on this edge of like, oh, it's too good, and so we kill it. We kill it. I watch my clients kill it all the time. I've killed it myself. I recently was talking with somebody in my life, somebody who was really close to me at one point, and I was like, wow, I killed that. I was scared. I ran away. I ran away from that because it was too good. And we all do this, but it is the more awareness you can have of you doing this and of you mistrusting the love, the more likely you are to have that orgasmic lifestyle, that orgasmic frequency, to step into that beauty and that bliss, because it does take work to continue to lean into the better feeling vibrations. It does take work. And when I say work, it means like breathing, stepping in, looking at your belief systems, dealing with your energy body, which you can work. I work with energies, I work with in-person, online, to really have somebody to look at you and go, okay, now you're trying to kill your own bliss. You're trying to kill your own bliss that you've been so hungry for all these years, for all this time. Now you're trying to kill it. And we do this in relationships a lot. We try to kill our relationships. So we start to go, this is too good. And that's what my article really was about the other day. If you haven't read it, please go read it. It was an awesome article. I had actually written it quite a long time ago, but it was really resonating with me to share it because I hadn't shared it yet. But it was this energy of like, we have this love for somebody, and so we start to look at the gotchas. We have somebody in our life reach out, and I had put a little bit of a story in there. I had this beautiful man reach out to me, and my first reaction way back then was, what does he want? What does he want? Not, oh my goodness, like so-and-so is reaching out to me, and really leaning into that. And that's really when I wrote that article months ago. It was this reaction I have of what does he want? And I went, whoa, that's, you enjoy him. We have great conversations, and leaning into that energy instead of backing away from that energy. And that's what we do. We label. That's why we have all these labels floating around. I'm not going to get on my Addison soapbox today of, all these negative labels we're throwing on people, like love bombing and narcissism, gaslighting. All these are real things, okay? So I don't want to minimize. I was a therapist for years, but those are actual severe diagnoses, and we continue to label people. And the more we're labeling people, the more we're actually putting this massive space between us and true love and connection and trying to understand another human soul. So we put these labels on individuals, and that label puts us at arm's length from somebody. And it oftentimes is not a positive label. We don't tend to label people like, they're so amazing. A lot of times we label from this negative space, the space of like keeping distance. And a lot of times when we're in a love kind of relationship, we work really hard we're like, oh no, I love them. But in the back of our minds, a lot of times we are collecting information, and it becomes a manipulative game. We start to collect information and find reasons why this person can't love us or shouldn't love us, or negatives. We start collecting these negatives to separate from love, because we can't really hold that vibration of love, of orgasm, of joy, of pleasure. This is the woman who has had so many orgasms. She's like pushing away from you because it's too much. It's too much for her vessel, as Kabbalists would say. It's too much. It's too much light. It's too much goodness that they must sabotage it. And so my question for you guys today, because I always like to leave you with something to think about, is where are you sabotaging your joy, your bliss? Where are you setting negative energies into your relationships, into your life? Where are you labeling people? Where are you labeling people, and where the fuck do you get off labeling somebody else in a negative or even a positive way? Like, you can just go, this is my opinion of them, this is my experience. But I challenge you to think about that other person. Try thinking about them from a different perspective. Try stepping out of your box. But I want you to really look particularly today at where you're blocking your own joy, where you're not expanding that energetic vessel of love and trying to escape that. Because in truth, we are used to the negative. We're used to the shadow. It takes a lot more trust in self. It takes a lot more compassion with self to realize when we are not stepping into those positive vibrations, realizing those resistances, those blocks, and breathing through them. And then going and getting help potentially to move through that next level. So if you're interested in working with me, if you're interested in finding out how you can up your orgasmic potential, I'd love to do a chat with you. AddisonBellChat.com. You can go ahead and grab a slot with me. We can chat about how you can raise your orgasmic potential. But more than that, I really just want you to think today on where you're standing in your own way and where you are avoiding your positive vibrations. because you deserve it. You really do. You really deserve. We all deserve to have the feel good in our lives. But we have to be able to breathe into it and open up to it and realize where we're our own worst enemies and where we're judging and labeling and doing all of these things that is love, is keeping us from love. It's not love. It's keeping us from love. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I'd love to hear more about your thoughts, what's going on in your life, and where you are blocking your own joy, your own bliss, where you are negatively labeling somebody in your life, where you're trying to kind of mistrust somebody else's true positive intentions, possibly. I can't talk today all of a sudden. Possibly. So, love to hear from you guys. And other than that, I'll see you beautiful people tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Bye, guys.